Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. I guess I'm going to entitle this video Lawn Freak 3 because I've done two other videos. And what Lawn Freak means is this. I get along with everybody. Or I try, Not too many people have a problem with me. I'm always helpful, trying to, do my best to help people. And I got a neighbor, He's been here about maybe 2 years and nothing but trouble, I'm going to try to condense this. Because I'm going to say this first. The house next door to me, when I moved in, there were people that lived next door. They were nice people. The only problem I had out of them, it was like 3 people, and they had 4 cars. And those cars are always all over the place and in everybody's driveway or parking. It's like, dude, can I park in front of my own house sometimes? Why do 4 unemployed people need 4 cars? I couldn't figure that one out, So when they moved, I took it upon myself, and I'm just sad that other people don't think this way. I'm like, okay, nobody lives across next door. The grass is growing out of control. Not only I'm going to have to maintain my grass, but the other grass until they put somebody in the house. Because I'm like, I'd be damned if I live next door to a house that got 2 feet tall of grass. That says a lot about me. To say, well, dang, I guess he don't care. She okay with that? No, I'm not. So I took the daunting task of keeping that lawn over there well kept until they moved somebody in. So which they did. And there's some people that just not sociable people. I'm fine with that. I don't have to speak to you, I try to say good morning, look down and walking all off. I'm like, fine. I honestly don't have a problem with that. So the problem started with the cat issue because I got a soft spot in my heart for animals, and they didn't wish to come here, and I have no control over them. I feed some of them that are approachable because some of them are feral, so I leave them alone. So those cats been running around here for over 20 years, according to my neighbor that's been here 40 years. So they got here when I came, and most likely they'll be here when I leave. Ain't nothing I could do about that. We've contacted animal control, and in the city I live in, you're lucky if you get the garbage taken out or the garbage taken away. So don't ask for something like that because they're not showing up. So they kind of running all over the place. And again, I have no control over that. And he came over. I don't mean no offense, but those cats are in my yard. And my response was, so what you want me to do about it? Those ain't my animals. I can't have a meeting with them to stay off their man grass. That ain't going to happen. So I told him, I said, you have to call animal control me because I got no control over that. I feed some of them, and whether I feed them or not, they still going to be hanging around. They ain't got nowhere else to go. So that's been kind of an ongoing issue with that. Again, he thinks for some reason the world revolves around him, and whatever he asked of anybody, it's going to get done, which is a ridiculous request because, again, these are not my animals. So I noticed this like the last couple of weeks. I get a daily paper in the morning, and the newspaper guy throws it in my yard. So I get up in the morning and get my paper off my lawn or in the pathway to the house. The way his house is situated, he got 2, points of entry. And they're on the side of the house. They're not on the front and the back like most people's houses. So he has 2 walkways. So there's sometimes sales papers that come. And they throw mine's in my area, my space. Then they throw his in his pathway. Again, this is his pathway. There's no dispute about that. It'll sit there for weeks. And then I noticed this pattern. I'm like, why won't he take his his newspaper in or throw it? And I find that extremely odd for this individual because he's so angry about his grass. Don't want nobody walking on it. He even put signs up, keep off the grass. He out there every day cutting it, watering it, all that. I'm like, so if you so much in love with your appearance of your grass, which is great, I just found it out that you won't pick up your paper that's been sitting there for a week. So this is what happened last week. I'm sitting there watching, me and my wife. I'm like, when is he going to get this? It's day 7. So last week he cut his grass or watered it, and he took his paper, and threw it in my yard. And when I seen that, I said, you know what? I'm too exhausted today to have an argument with Eddie. I mean, really, so I'm going to be the bigger man and pick it up and throw it in the garbage. something that should have took place 5 days earlier. So then here's the next sales paper. His paper, again, stress, his paper and his path. Sit there 7 days. And then when I got up, my wife said, take a look at look out there at the lawn and see where that paper is. And he had watered his grass, a little sprinkler going. I looked out there. This bitch then threw the paper back in my yard again. So I went out there politely, threw it back in his yard because I'm like, I'm not going to be throwing your newspaper out, man. This is yours. And I don't understand why you don't get that and why you're doing this, because this is extremely childish. It's like, come on, man. This is your area. You maintain your area, and you don't throw debris from your area back in my area. You know, so I'm going to have a talk with him when I see him, because I'm like, this shit got to stop. You know, I was kind enough the last time to throw the paper in the garbage that, again, wasn't mine. So now you're going to think you're going to continue to throw this shit in my grass and leave me to pick up your old, wet, soggy, moldy paper? No, I don't think so. You know, there's some people that are just extremely honoring, because I'm like, this ain't nothing but spite and honor. And I think it derived from the cat issue. I'm like, again, those ain't my cats, too. I feed them because I care about all God's creatures, you know, and they out there being mistreated, you know, getting hit by cars, killed by pit bulls, you know, trying to find shelter when it gets cold out there. You know, I have some sympathy for anything living. So that's why I feed some of them that are somewhat domesticated, because some of them were just tossed out by reasons unknown. Maybe the owners died or they couldn't take them with them, but they put their cats out. You know, so they show up meowing and I feed them. And I have a special, I guess, care or love for one particular one, because I know he's domesticated, because when I put food out, he'd run right past the food just to be rubbed. I'm like, here you go, big guy. You know, I wish I could find you a place, you know, where you can, you know, find you a new home, because you don't deserve to be out here. So I make it a point to feed him. The other ones I kind of stop feeding because they're feral, they're violent, you know, and then they come into the yard and try to be domineering and take over. I'm like, you don't own nothing up in here, so you got to go. Get out of here. You know, this food ain't for you anyway. You know, then I have two of them that just all day long, they whole mission just to hang around to get fed. And I don't mind feeding them, but the problem arise was this, and this is what got half of them tossed out of here. I went and bought a cage and put food in it, and they trapped them and took them somewhere else because animal control won't take them. But the reason why I did that, because they start to hang, I mean, literally all day just hanging around. And again, I don't have a problem with that. I'll feed you throughout the day, but this is when I had to put my foot down. They start shitting in my yard, you know, all up along my mulch, and in that little area where I got like flowers and rocks, they just taking dunks. And I'm like, oh no, we can't do this. So I had to take half of them out of here and transport them to another area, you know. So it got to the point it was getting out of control, but that was the only way that I can deal with the situation, by just relocating them, because I can't be cutting my grass in the backyard and dodging shit. I was like, oh no, we're not doing this. No, I'll feed you all throughout the day, but I'm not going to have you sitting here using my yard as a toilet. You know, all this outside and you coming here and squatting down and dropping loads. I'm like, oh no. So I had to get rid of them. You know, I had to, again, buy a trap and start transporting them and relocating them. But I just thought I would do this video for one main reason, documentation. If something happens, somebody will know the story behind how we got to this point. And I'm hoping that it's not going to get to that point, but I'm not having that. You know, it's like, show some respect, man. Show some consideration, you know, because I'm sure you would expect that from your fellow man. So I'm only expecting the same. You know, stop all this childish nonsense and do what you're supposed to do. You know? So until next time, take care and thanks for watching.